authentications now with all of these different platforms. So I apologize, but we are now being live streamed on YouTube. Welcome to our YouTube audience. We're so glad that you're here. And we are so excited to have you join the Win Win Women Network as well. Again, my name is Carrie Donegan, and the show is called Radical Age Reversal, where we talk about strategies to maintain really, really good health throughout every year of your life. And we're going through the book by Daniel Amen, 30% Happier in 30 Days. And we are on day 3. And every day you get a little nugget, but this one is chock full. So we're going to do our entire episode covering it. So he says that he created a list of 11 strategies to improve the brain. And remember, he is a physician who has studied the brain almost exclusively for his entire career and is really making a significant mark on the world today in terms of brain health. And he uses a lot of natural applications. Actually, his go-to is to go to something natural first, food as medicine, starting to use plants, essential oils, the things that we love on this show. So it works hand in hand that we would actually incorporate his strategies into what we are already doing. So I'm going to show you how to adapt these on a day-to-day basis. So the first one he talks about is a blood flow. And I really want to encourage you to use the doTERRA Recharge every day. This is the electrolyte supplement. And I've been playing with it for, I guess, maybe a couple of months now. That comes in 2 different flavors, lemon and lime and wild strawberry. I have to say wild strawberry is my favorite. However, you can take it with your MetaPWR Advantage. You could take it alone. You could put it in a water bottle and drink it throughout the day. The key to this supplement actually is using it with a lot of water because it has these ionized deep sea minerals, which if you've ever taken that supplement on your own, you know that for me anyway, it's the hardest one to swallow. And by some miracle of essential oils, doTERRA has made this taste really palatable. Now, is it going to replace your favorite dessert? No. But you can drink it down and enjoy it, which is what I think is actually a miracle because ionized minerals just don't taste good. They're just good for you. So get out your recharge, set that up for the day, and make sure that I drink it right down. But if you need time to drink it down, that's fine too. So the number one thing he says is increasing blood flow in your body. So I'm going to give you 2 supplements recommendations. One, of course, is the recharge. We talked about that. And the second one is part of the lifelong vitality system, and it's called Alpha CRS. Alpha CRS is our longevity supplement in terms of all of the vitamins and minerals and outside plants that you need to really improve your brain. That's going to be our big brain supplement. All right. When you think of Alpha CRS, what am I using that for? It's my big brain supplement. So you're going to take that and you're going to take the recharge. Now, his number 2 suggestion when it comes to brain flow is to limit caffeine and nicotine. I'm going to agree with that. I'm going to say there's no reason to take nicotine. Now, maybe someone out in the audience is going to tell me otherwise. I always welcome comments, but I really believe there is no good research that shows that nicotine has any positive value on your health. Prove me otherwise. But caffeine, I think, is one of these things that's just so embedded in our life, in our lifestyle. And, there's this happiness factor, right? So like if you wake up in the morning and you have a cup of tea or you have a cup of coffee and it has caffeine in it, and you notice I didn't talk about soft drinks because I don't think soft drinks have any value whatsoever. We know that the bean of the coffee plant has value. We know that tea leaves have value, but I really have to tell you anything artificial, just take that off your list. So caffeine in its healthiest forms can also be hard on your body if caffeine is something that you don't metabolize well, which I am in that category. Do not metabolize caffeine well. So I rely on the Serenity capsule because it has L-theanine in it. And if I take just one, it's enough L-theanine to balance the caffeine that I love and that I did listen to All the experts out there that are saying, do not drink your caffeine for the first 90 minutes of the day. So I'm able to incorporate that into my routine as well. But then when I have that beautiful first cup of tea, if I feel like the caffeine is too strong, then I can take one, not two. Two is going to make you sleepy, but one is just enough to balance with L-theanine the caffeine in your morning coffee or your morning tea. Or if you're drinking caffeine throughout the day and that's a habit that you're not ready to break, then of course that Serenity supplement is going to be enough L-theanine to do a little bit of balancing throughout the day. Take it as needed. Okay. So that's my workaround. He's saying limit it. That's up to you. Exercise, a brisk 15-minute walk. We've talked a lot about walking on this channel. So please keep up walking. And then, of course, he talks about all the supplements that are in alpha CRS. So I'm not going to go into detail because we don't have time. But if you just take those two supplements, you're going to be able to achieve strategy number 1 of his 11 strategies: recharge and alpha CRS. Okay. And then the last thing he says to increase blood flow in your brain, which I think is so cool, is laughing. All right. So I love YouTube. And one of the reasons I love YouTube is because they have all these comedy shorts. And you know what else I love about it? You can search on the comedy of your choice. So for me, my favorite comedians are comedians from different parts of the world, especially Asian comedians. I just think they're the best. But I also like clean comedy. I don't want to hear a lot of F-bombs. I don't want to hear a lot of sexual innuendo. It's like boring to me. It's like enough already. But if that's your thing, that's your thing. I'm not a prude. I'm just like bored. I'm bored with all the obscenity. So I put in the search, clean comedy from wherever I'm kind of like interested, from Turkey, from Iran, from Somalia, from China, from Taiwan, from Italy, from Ireland. And it's just so much fun to see how different people laugh in different parts of the world. That's my thing. Whatever your comedy is, maybe you want jokes about marriage or jokes about, travel or jokes about playing tennis or golf or whatever your thing is, but laugh every day. Make sure you kind of ask yourself at the end of the day, did I laugh? And of course, get with your friends, tell jokes, buy joke books, get into the habit of trying to make someone else laugh. There's a challenge for the day. A smile is a great way to start, but if you can do something funny and kind of self-deprecating, it can be great. I mean, it can just be great. I was in the grocery store the other day. They were playing this loud music. It was so much fun. And I just started to dance in the aisles. And let me tell you, the people around me were like giggling. And it was so great because it was like, I brought joy to someone else, even if I looked a little bit like a fool. And that's good all the way around. It increased blood flow to the people in my life. So I thought that was awesome. All right. Next one. Let's reduce aging. That's what this show is all about. All right. So this is right up my alley. Throw that in as one of the strategies and you have me on board. That's going to be MetaPWR. So getting on that MetaPWR system and staying on that MetaPWR system. And I know it feels slow. It's like, Carrie, I don't want that instant response. I want to take your system and I want to see results in 2 or 3 days. Well, guess what? Aging doesn't work like that. Aging is something that slowly but surely creeps into our life. And something that goes from like, oh, I think I'm slowing down here. I'm a little bit more tired. I'm a little bit achier. Then all of a sudden you realize, wow, I have no energy and I have a lot of pain. So that wasn't overnight. That was a slow process. So same thing with reversing the process. You're going to get slow, steady results with MetaPWR. Keep it up. You need results. You need to see those things. I know I can be that person too. Then go get your blood work done every 3 months and you will see the progress being made. Okay, so that's good. All right, the next thing he says about slowing down aging is being socially connected. And one of the best ways to do that, because I know I talk to people, especially in my age group, who are like, my friends have moved away, they're busy with their grandkids, they're busy with their college age students, they have a lot of demands at work, and they just don't have the connected friend time that they used to have. So there's lots of strategies, and we could do a whole show on this, but volunteering, I'm just going to give you the easy one. Go volunteer somewhere. Guess what? You'll make friends. That's it. It's so easy, and you're going to help someone else. And anybody will take a volunteer. People are dying for people to volunteer. So if you need more social connection, face to face, in person, go volunteer. And maybe we'll do a whole show on that. Also, having times of silence and meditation is going to actually slow down the aging process. So, especially now, hopefully where you live, depending on where you're listening, the weather is getting nicer. Give yourself a 10-minute break and go outside and sit down and just be quiet. You can start listening to the outside sounds. You can listen to the birds. You can listen just for your own heartbeat, your breathing, but just give yourself a time of silence. And of course, if prayer is part of your regular routine, that's a great time to take on some meditative prayer. Um, Lifelong vitality, of course, is going to be key. MetaPWR is going to be key. And then he says, throw in those foods that are high in vitamin C, all your citruses, your peppers, your berries. Okay, those are going to be really, really good for you. All right, moving on to the next one. Reduce the inflammation. We've been talking about this a lot. How do you reduce inflammation? Well, recharge, guess what? One of the top things. And here's what I'm going to love about how we're doing this. When you see those 11 points, and I'm going to put them in the description of this YouTube video. So you can go back and you can review these notes, but you're going to see a lot of overlap. So what one product is doing in one area is it's also going to apply to another. So it's not like you're going to get 11 different product protocols. You're going to see tons and tons of overlap. We've already talked about Serenity. We've already talked about recharge. We've already talked about lifelong vitality, and we've talked about MetaPWR. You're going to hear these words over and over again. Eliminating sugar and processed foods. This is going to go a long way to reducing inflammation. Floss. How about that? Get out your doTERRA OnGuard toothpaste, your Super Mint toothpaste, your OnGuard mouthwash. We talk about the mouthwash a lot. Floss. That's actually going to reduce depression and anxiety. Did you know that poor flossers are higher with depression and anxiety? I didn't know that, but this is what it says in the book, which is kind of cool. Take your probiotics. Okay, I'm going to add a product here. The product I'm going to add is Restore. You should be taking your Restore and your PB Assist Plus together, at least one of each a day. It's going to feed your microbiome. It's going to feed the fiber that we're eating in our good foods and taking our doTERRA fiber, right? Take those in combination. That's going to help with inflammation as well. And positive thinking. So here's one of the things that I've been noticing. Like I've been trying to be mindful of those thoughts that trickle down into my brain. So today, for example, it is tax day. And there have been a lot of anxious feelings that come up around taxes and money and keeping track of my business and my books and making sure I do everything right and coordinating with all the people that I work with and getting things to my accountant on time, right? Lots of anxiety there. So, when I start thinking, tax day, or, I have to do this, I try to put a positive spin on it, like getting this done is going to make me feel really relaxed and put together and complete. And I'm going to have that sense of achievement. So, not that there's anxiety around money or taxes, but that there's a positive feeling knowing that I am on the right path. I'm making good financial decisions. I'm watching what I'm doing. I'm monitoring. I'm budgeting, right? Like all of those. So try to work on that as a positive thing. All right. The next thing, I believe we're on number 3, genetics. Get your genetics tested. I know some people don't want to do this because it's like a privacy thing. And if that's really your priority, then you're just going to skip over this of the 11 strategies. But I don't know, for me, I'm not going to be on the planet forever. And, if the big bad government is going to come in and like do wacky things with me, I don't know. I guess I feel like knowing my genetics has helped me so much. I didn't know I was sensitive to caffeine until I had my genetics tested. I didn't know I had the fat gene until I had my genetics tested. These are things that knowing them, I can actually implement strategies. Like, I knew why it was hard for me to lose weight when I found out that I had the fat gene. But then I also learned that the fat gene actually is a genetic development that's come over time because of so many famines in my ancestral history, right? So my survivors of so many famines on both sides of my parents' lineage has created this gene inside of me so that I can survive if there's another famine, which is why fasting is working really well for me, I believe, and why I've been able to kind of avoid weight gain postmenopausally. Is that a word? I kind of like it though. That's funny, right? Postmenopausally. All right. Next thing you want to avoid is head trauma. All right. And for some people who have been, my age or older, we probably had some head trauma, right? How are we working with that? Massage your scalp with things like frankincense oil, InTune, which comes in a roll on, which I like. Some basil would be really great. Add some lavender into your hair washing routine. Your hair is going to smell really, really good. So, you can shampoo your hair and drop some lavender in and massage it in more. Our shampoos are great and they're clean, they're environmentally friendly, and you can add oils into them without any worry of, toxicity. So that's great. And guess what the next thing is? Toxicity. Okay. So, how toxic is your environment? Because the greater the toxicity, the more rapidly you're going to age and the more disease prone you are going to become. So, you want to limit those toxins, and there's lots and lots of ways to do it. And it's really going to hurt your brain. So, first and foremost, all the products that touch your skin, your nose, that you breathe in, right? That you ingest. Okay, so these are the three parts of our immune system: our skin, our respiratory system, and our digestive system. So if you're eating things filled with toxins, filled with preservatives, filled with chemicals, filled with natural and artificial, all, not natural, but like the artificial flavorings, it's like, what is that? Tell me what it is. Be honest. Tell me what it is. Don't throw it into a category. I don't like that. Just avoid that. And my one big mantra right now is get the enriched flour out of your diet. So bad for you. Buy grass fed. These are some of the words I want you to look for: grass fed, blah, blah, blah. I want you to look for pasture raised, blah, blah, blah. And get everything, it's like whole grain in, good, enriched. Anytime there's vitamins in your food that have been added, why is that? Because they stripped it, because it's not in there, because whatever it is you're eating isn't good anymore. So they had to add vitamins back into it. Well, what the heck? Just leave it the way it was. So start voting with your dollars and take that out of your diet. Okay, next one. Okay, I'm going to back up for a second. A great way to remove toxins out of your body: fiber, the fiber supplement, the green supplement that we have, and Abode cleaning. Get rid of all your crappy cleaners and start using Abode, OnGuard line, and use the Zendocrine line. So one of the things doTERRA is doing is it's creating these systems, makes it so easy for us. All right, so we have the OnGuard system, keeps our body clean. We have the Abode system, keeps our environment clean. And then we have Zendocrine, which keeps our organs clean. So if you have those three systems rotating and using them all the time, and those are your go-tos, you're going to cover the reduced toxic load. And then, of course, watch what you're eating, because that's, a whole nother category and can be a little bit more complicated. So simplify your life, right? One shampoo, that's all you need, right? One soap, that's all you need. You don't have to have a whole cabinet full of stuff. Simplify, reduce all that. And when you throw it out, by the way, make sure you're getting rid of it in a proper way so it's not hurting the environment. Isn't that sad that we're using products on our body that can hurt the environment? If it's going to hurt the environment, it's probably going to hurt your environment too. All right. The next thing we're going to talk about is mental health issues. Mental health issues are ravaging our country right now. Let's just assume, like, cardiometabolic health issues, that all of us have some kind of mental imbalance, emotional imbalance in one way or the other. So, what's the strategy? The strategy is to have a tool. So, what are some of the tools? I love doTERRA for this because we have the adaptive system, we have the Serenity system, and we have the emotions oil kit. So, if you have these three tools in your toolbox, you can draw upon them. How do I do this very easily in the day? If you are someone who's like, don't give me too many choices, just use adaptive. There's a roll on that you can take with you. So when things are feeling anxious or you're feeling kind of sad, just grab that perfume with a purpose. You can diffuse the oil blend in your environment and you can take the capsule as needed, or at least proactively once or twice a day. Okay, that's easy. That's a simple one. You want to move things around, you can start adding it to with Serenity. You can start playing with the emotions oil kit. And all the oils in the emotions kit have a physical benefit too, but they're labeled to kind of give you an idea of what you might need: motivate, passion, forgive, console. There's 6 of them. I'll think of the other ones. I guess I don't use them as much. Oh, peace. That would be a good one to use. And there's one more. I'll think of it. Anyway, those are great. Rotate through those as needed, but they're really, 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 really helpful. Okay. Next thing, immunity and infections. We've got that in spades at doTERRA because we have the whole OnGuard line, which is there for your immune system. You really need to kick it up a notch. Make sure you have a bottle of DDR Prime on hand. That goes into the cellular level. You can also use the deep blue polyphenol complex, even though that's going to reduce inflammation. That is helpful with your immune system. So when your immune system has so much inflammation to deal with, it's on overdrive and it's working too hard. And so you want inflammation and to deal with your immunity kind of hand in hand. So those are really important. All right. Next thing we're going to move on to is your neurohormones. So these are things like adrenaline, noradrenaline, dopamine, serotonin. And I love the flower oils for this. So if you're confused about like which oils do I really need for my hormone balance, it's all going to be in the flower family: rose, neroli, jasmine. So rose is great for serotonin. Jasmine is great for dopamine. Neroli is great for GABA. And even if you don't know what each of these do or how they affect you, just cycling through and using different flowers and being aware of how you feel after you use them. One of the things that I love, let me see what I have next to me, because I always have some kind. So I have blue lotus next to me, which is wonderful for this purpose. So let's say I have no idea what this does, but I know it's a flower. And I know it's going to help with my hormone balance, especially my brain hormones. Okay. So neurohormones. Who knew that we had neurohormones? Grab one of those flower oils every day. Now I've been talking, or I'm starting to talk a lot about this, what I think is a really important spot on your body that people are missing that is really good with roll-on bottles. And it's this part of your ear right in the front. And the one thing I love about the roll-ons is you can actually go ahead get right inside the ear. I know it's super popular right now to do all kinds of piercing, but just remember you have all kinds of acupressure points and acupuncture points on your ears. Your ears are actually a pathway to your entire body and your health. So knowing where to pierce and when to pierce and how to pierce is going to be really, really important. So be super careful with some of the piercings that you do, but use your essential oil roll-ons, especially the flowers, around your ears as much as possible. It's going to be very key to getting those neurohormones balanced. Remember, these are the hormones that are going to keep your brain healthy, optimized, and reduce the aging brain. Okay, so he came up with his own word because I looked this up. I was like, this is a word. It's a Daniel Amen word. And he came up with something called diabesity, which I think is like diabetes that leads to obesity, which of course is our SAD diet, right? The standard American diet. is sad because it is lacking in nutrition. And so one of the things that he talks about is your probiotics, is fiber, is nutrient rich food. So eat the colors of the rainbow. And I just heard this, and I'm sorry because I'm going to quote it, but I don't know who wrote it. So if you know who wrote this, please let me know, because a friend of mine told me about this and I think it's brilliant. If you want to know how to shop in the grocery store, do something called 6 to 1. Okay. So it was developed, I guess, to help people budget and not overeat or not eat improperly. But I think it's a really great way to monitor how you're going to the grocery store. So 6 vegetables. So every time you go to the grocery store, so let's say once a week, 6 vegetables, 5 fruits, 3 proteins. Okay, so proteins can be eggs, it can be cheese, it can be meat, it can be tofu, whatever works for you. 3 what they call like dips or sauces, or and again, watch those ingredients. Okay, watch those ingredients, but you can pick 3 condiments. Like, I think some things that are really great would be like salsa or a tzatziki. Go deep, hummus, right? Go deep into old cultures and look at the sides that they used to add into their food. I think those are going to be the healthiest choices. 2 grains. What could that be? That could be rice. That could be noodles, pasta. Again, my daughter just taught me a trick. She said, Mom, when you're looking at pasta, it should be as white and light as possible. When you buy yellowed pasta in the grocery store, that pasta has not been aged properly. And I noticed that the best pastas that I see on the shelves seem to be coming from Italy. So get your things from, the country of origin. Look for those pastas that are actually lighter in color. They're almost white, and they actually taste better too, which is kind of interesting. And then you get like what he calls like a treat. All right. So maybe it's ice cream. Maybe it's a chocolate bar. Maybe, I don't know, what's your guilty pleasure? My new guilty pleasure is Harmless Harvest extra rich and creamy plain coconut yogurt. And it's like eating coconut whipped cream. It's so thick and delicious. For me, it's like so much better than ice cream. It's replaced every guilty thing I love, and I just have fun with it. Like, some days I put fruit in it, some days I put chocolate chips in it, sometimes I put coconut or granola on it, or I drizzle that amazing Trader Joe's vanilla paste all over it, whatever it is. So like, that's become the base for my treat. Honey, you could do. It's a great canvas to play with. And my body does better with the coconut than it does with a milk product, but I'm a big yogurt fan. And again, you're getting another fermented food. So, but he says you get 1 free thing. So again, I'll go through it one more time. 6 vegetables, 5 fruits, 4 proteins, 3 dips or sides or whatever you want to call them, 2 grains, and 1 treat. And I think, wow, that's such an easy way to control your spending and also make sure you get all the foods that you need for longevity. And then lastly, the 11th suggestion is for sleep. And we know we have the Serenity system for that. You can also incorporate some really good sleep techniques, including making your room as cold as possible, dark and quiet, turning off all your gadgets and do not disturbs, putting all that on so you're not woken in the middle of the night. Listen to music, classical music with like an up kind of they say classical music is the best music for the brain. I know there's some great apps. My favorite sleep app is called Hallow. You can listen to music on it. It's very soporific. There's also like people reading bedtime stories and prayers, and soft and rhythmic. It's great. You can go the ocean sound way, the breeze way. There's like all kinds of sounds that are good for sleeping. And then if you have things that keep you awake, get a journal. Like, literally, if you can't go to sleep, if your mind is racing so much and you can't do in the breathing and all of those techniques that we've talked about are not helping, then get out of bed. It's okay. Get out of bed, go into another room, get a journal, write everything down, and then try to reduce your body temperature as much as possible. I notice that if I get too warm, I wake up. And the minute I feel like my body cooled down, I also start to get kind of quiet and I feel like my muscles relaxing. So that helps me to fall asleep. But I'm in love with the new Serenity supplement that has the tart cherry extract in it. I feel like that has been revolutionary for me. And the other thing for my sleep is this Serenity stick. And anyone who's been watching this channel knows that I've been trying to figure out how to get a full night's sleep for quite some time. And even though I devoted my 2023 to sleep, it really wasn't until these new Serenity products came into my routine that I was able to achieve that full night's sleep where I don't wake up, which honestly is a miracle. And people will say to me all the time, how do you take on all the things that you take on and stay in such a good mood and have so much energy? And guess what? It's because I figured out how to sleep. So even if you're not sleeping as long as you want to sleep, if you can sleep solid, right? Solid without waking up, that I think that's really important because your brain has something called a glymphatic system. And you need to be asleep for a certain amount of time for that glymphatic system to start draining toxins. So all those 11 suggestions from Daniel Amen, I think are amazing. Again, it's chapter 3 of this book, 30% Happier in 30 Days. And we've run out of time for today. If you have questions, please put them in the comment section. I will put my notes to his 11 suggestions and the supplements that I think are good for you in the description of the YouTube video. And I thank you and I bless you and hope you have an amazing week ahead. And I will see you next week. Thanks for joining.